Hello and welcome to Bite Size, proudly brought to you by Priestley's Gourmet Delights. I'm your host, Xanny Christopherson, and each episode I sit down with a guest to chat through their business insights, their thoughts on the food service industry, and everything else in between. Today I'm joined by the wonderful and bright Sonya. I'm excited to share this chat with you all about her incredible career, her business spaghetti head, and of course, what makes the perfect dish. We hope you enjoyed this conversation. Welcome, Sonya.
Thank you for having me.
That's okay. Let's get straight into it. So for our listeners who might not know you, can you tell us a bit about who you are and what you do?
Of course. I am a freelance food and travel writer, Brisbane based. I also work for taste.com.au, and I'm the mother of two small children.
Amazing. The mother of two small children is always, I think, the toughest part of the work week.
I'd say that's my most time-consuming job for sure.
Yeah. So when you say you're a travel writer as well, does that mean you get to travel a lot?
Yes, I've certainly toned down the travel or kept it a little bit more local in recent years.
Yeah.
I was a travel editor at Delicious magazine for a number of years, and I was doing a lot of international travel then. But now I tend to keep it short and local for parenting purposes.
Yeah, understand. Curiosity killing the cat now. Favorite location ever?
It's almost impossible. One of my best kind of travel feature trips was to Mauritius.
Yeah.
It was really unexpected. The food was way more incredible than I'd pictured it would be. And I got to meet with a lot of local fishers and ceramicists and all kinds of people. And it was just a beautiful place. Yeah, underrated, I think.
Okay, I have to add it to my list.
Yes.
All right, and how did you get into writing, and in particular food writing?
Yeah, I started out maybe about 15 years ago now at a local street press in Brisbane. And during that time, I was writing about local restaurant openings and cafes and things. And I really fell in love with that and in love with the stories behind the food as well, meeting people and producers and restaurateurs and chefs. And then a little bit later, I moved to London where I started working for a chef as her kind of ghostwriter and acting editor-in-chief and writing a lot of travel and food content. That was for Rachel Khoo, who hosts Great Australian Bake Off, I think it is.
Yeah.
And that was a fantastic experience, which sort of saw me fall deeper in love with the food writing world. And then when I moved home to Australia, I moved to Sydney and landed a job at Donna Hay magazine, which was incredible. I think anybody who grew up in Australia and read those magazines knows how beautiful they are. And then I've just kind of kept in that little niche for myself ever since, which is a fun place to be.
Yeah, and I think writing is definitely a talent. I know it's not one of my strong points. So were you particularly interested in English at school? Like, where did it start from the early ages?
Yeah, I'd say that I've always been a writer, you know, from childhood. I loved writing, and I started out in journalism and then foolishly decided to go and try a lot of other things. I studied naturopathy and linguistics and all sorts of things, and then eventually came to my senses and came back to writing. And I did a master's in writing. And yeah, I'm a compulsive writer. It's almost a compulsion, I would say, for me. I'm always writing creatively, if not for work, and freelancing on the side of my jobs and working on a novel. I just can't help myself.
Have you written any children's books?
I've written stories for my children, but I haven't sent them to anyone.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah. And I bet that they love it as well.
They do, and they're my harshest critics, so hopefully that's a good sign.
Have there been any bumps along the way?
Yeah, I think everybody who enters the media has bumps along the way. For me, it was probably facing the transition of becoming a mother right after kind of riding the high or during riding the high of being a travel editor. I think in my naive child-free mind, I thought that I would probably go back and just carry on as I was before. But as we all learn, that's not really feasible. And so I think that's probably been the biggest challenge along the way. I've made kind of concessions where I still continue to write for a lot of travel magazines and sometimes it's armchair research, which is not as fun as the real thing. And other times it is taking my family along for the ride, which can be very interesting.
Yeah. But I think that's kind of fun too. And they get to experience you as a professional, not just a mother, which I think is important for identity as well.
It is. And I think it's really good for kids to see their mum outside of the home doing other things. I think it surprises them too.
Yeah.
And when I tell them kind of things that I've done previously, I'm not sure they believe me.
Well, I know that my daughter doesn't know who I am. And some days you're like, I'm kind of a big deal. Like, can you just acknowledge that, please?
Need some credit here.
Exactly. It's those moments, where they're like, oh, can you just pick that up off the floor? And I'm like, I'm not your servant, darling. I love you.
Another job.
Yeah, exactly. And I know that you've worked for Donna Hay as well. I love Donna Hay, and I know she's big in dessert. So tell me about your time with her.
That was pretty incredible. That was a career highlight too, because the test kitchen for Donna Hay was right next to my desk.
Oh, I love that.
Yes. And obviously it helps to try things when you're writing about them. So I found cakes and things were just kind of being ferried to my desk all day long. And I got to try a lot of delicious things in that time. And anytime we had someone come in for meetings, the kitchen team and Donna would be baking as well. So I was constantly surrounded by incredible food. I remember once we would take so much food home as well. And I remember getting stuck in the elevator once coming out of there. And I thought, it's fine. I've got cake in my bag. I always have cake in my bag now.
It's one of those moments. And I certainly know with Priestley's is when we're walking in for a meeting.
Yeah.
Cake makes everything better. Even if you're having a tough conversation, cake makes it better.
So much better.
Yeah. What's your favourite dessert?
Oh, I am a bit of a tiramisu girl.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Good. I like a Black Forest cake as well.
Yeah.
Cheesecake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sponge and cream.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cold set cheesecake or a baked cheesecake?
Can I have both?
Yeah.
A slice of each. I love a burnt Basque cheesecake as well. Look, just any cheesecake is fine with me.
Yeah, amazing. So you mentioned Rachel Koo before. Are there any other cooks or food writers that have really inspired you along the way?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like it's a topic I could go on about. I read a lot of food writers, a lot of other food writers. I mean, some from kind of bygone eras like MFK Fisher, and in terms of new writers, I love Ruby Tando, who has beautiful perspectives on food, and Felicity Cloak in the UK. She writes for The Guardian, just has a beautiful turn of phrase. And then in this career, I've been able to meet so many fantastic writers, and some who I've commissioned for magazines as well. People like Melissa Leong and gosh, there's so many, and I'm going to leave somebody out if I start listing friends' names.
You don't need to.
Yeah,
you don't need to.
I'm always inspired by other food writers.
Yeah, and what about chefs?
Yeah, chefs too. I've got to interview a lot of fantastic chefs over the years, and because I'm not a chef myself, I think I'm especially in awe of what they do and their creativity and innovation in the food space. Just this week, I was talking to Peter Gilmore, who's closing Key Restaurant this week, and there's been times where I've been putting one of my children to bed and then jumping on a call to Gordon Ramsay in London.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got to meet a lot of great chefs, and I love what they do.
Yeah, and I think what's nice about that as well is it's often family owned and operated restaurants as well.
Yes, absolutely.
So there's a lot of heart in that.
And the storytelling really comes through in their dishes, I think.
Yeah. And I also think that food is one of the true ways in which you can connect people, but also play with the science behind it to truly innovate.
Yes, absolutely. And I think that's what I love most about food writing is that really when you write about food, you're writing about the people. And I wouldn't call myself a scientist by any means, but I'm so impressed by anyone who has that really great in-depth understanding of how things come together.
Yeah, and then also the palate to be able to process it.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So you've had many career highlights. I'm not going to list them all because I won't get it right. What is your biggest one?
Oh, it's really tricky. There's been a lot of pinch me, life-affirming moments. I think being a travel editor was one of the big ones for me because one week I'd be trying food truck foods in Portland and the next week I'd be in Mauritius or London or wherever. And That was always really exciting to me. It was a thrilling adventure. And it was, pre-pandemic, pre-children. So I was traveling really freely. It was a very fun time. But I think, and it's going to sound really corny, but I think the highlight for me is really the people I've gotten to meet through these experiences. And it could be things like chatting to Gordon Ramsay, but it's more, talking to a local cheesemaker or a winemaker, or I've just learned so much about food and about the people behind it through this career, which is great.
And I think it's all about relationships, right? And understanding the story and the provenance of where the foods come from. And I know that when you start to speak to, the local cheesemakers and stuff, provenance and how they care for their animals, is so important to them. So
important. And these people are so passionate. I don't know if you've ever spoken to, say, a beekeeper, but these people care so much about the bees and what they do. And it's so interesting to speak to them.
Yeah, but without the bees, we'd have nothing. That's what I find incredible.
Yeah, that's right.
It's such a simple animal.
Yeah.
Right. And tell me about your business, Spaghetti Head.
Yeah. Spaghetti Head was kind of born during the pandemic era. I just had my first child, and I think it was becoming pretty clear to me that being a travel editor probably wasn't feasible for multiple reasons in 2020. And I decided, although I'd been freelancing for years on the side of my jobs, I wanted to make it a legitimate business. And so Spaghetti Head is a great way for me to be able to do copywriting and branding with smaller hospitality businesses, and sometimes bigger ones too. Sometimes I'll work with hotels and kind of accommodation offerings, but a lot of the time it's smaller restaurants and bars and things, which I love to do.
And tell me about the name.
Yeah, Spaghetti Head.
I know there's a story there. I can tell.
I mean, firstly, you can probably tell already, I'm a scatterhead, spaghetti head as it is. I've got ideas whirling around all the time. And it's my hair too. I've just been referred to as a noodle head or a spaghetti head for years. And so, I took advantage and claimed it.
Yeah, amazing. I love it. All right, so you've interviewed everyone from Gordon Ramsay to small cheesemakers. What separates great chefs from good ones?
Oh, I think it is the thought that's put into what they do and the love that's put into it. I think it makes a big difference. I mean, you can tell when you're speaking to a chef who really, really cares about what they do, and they really care about their teams, and they really take care of the people they're working alongside. So chefs that work closely with farmers and producers and chefs that have big innovative ideas. I think that's what separates a great one from a good one.
Yeah. I tend to agree. I know that when I cook at home, which is very rarely, but you can definitely tell whether you put the love into the dish or not, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm just like, I need to get it on the table.
That's exactly it.
Yeah, totally understand. And what do you think makes a recipe truly great?
I think if I've learned anything from working at taste.com.au, it's that experience and testing is really important.
Yeah.
And you don't need to be a chef to create a great recipe, but I think that testing and knowledge and just practice makes such a difference.
I'd agree. And I think as well as just because the recipe doesn't suit your palate doesn't mean you can't adjust it.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's not the same with sweets, but if you're talking savoury, you can always fix it.
I agree. And I think that's why sometimes I prefer to cook savoury dishes, because you can kind of adjust if you mess it up.
Yeah, I agree.
It's not as precision-based as baking.
Yeah, I often joke that baking's not just a piece of cake.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
I need to steal that one. That's really good.
Oh, I use it all the time. What's your favourite dish?
Oh, gosh. And it's funny because, of course, I ask people this all the time, but I'm incapable of answering it. For me, it depends on the scenario, the setting, who I'm eating with.
You're an experienced girl.
Like right now, it's late February. Tomatoes are beautiful. A nice caprese salad would be great. But other times I want lemongrass and ginger and kaffir lime leaves. You're not going to get a straight answer out of me, are you?
Is there anything that you hate eating?
I'm a vegetarian, so meat.
Okay, well, that's a good one.
That's an easy one.
Yeah. I mean, I would have said celery. I mean, I get it, but I don't like it raw.
Yeah.
It's one of those weird things that I've just never been able to get my head wrapped around.
Non-event, isn't it, celery?
But I can eat it now. I don't love it.
Yeah.
But
But
anyway.
if forced to, you could.
Yeah, yeah. I read your article actually yesterday on AI and how it's going to affect your industry. So what I find really fascinating about it is I think that AI is going to impact different industries on different levels.
Yeah.
So if I talk about what we do at Priestley's is AI assists
Yes.
with predicting patterns and making sure that we're manufacturing efficiently and effectively. But in your world, it could replace people.
Yeah.
So tell me more about what you wrote and why you're so passionate about it.
Yeah, sure. Firstly, I think there's definitely a place for AI, and, creating those kind of efficiencies in your workplace, for example, is a great use of it.
Yeah.
A lot of writers, and rightly so, are very worried about AI, generative AI. But I do think I have a lot of hope about it because it doesn't have human senses. When we write about food and travel in particular, it's that first person experience, it's memories, it's sights and smells and, tactile experiences that, artificial intelligence can't replicate yet. So I think I feel good about that.
But I also think it's you've hit the nail on the head, right? It's around it doesn't have the leadership capability. So when you're dealing with human to human interactions and there's an experience to be felt, that's something that a computer will never be able to replicate.
I really think so. And right now, I feel like, at least as a writer and an editor, I can most of the time identify when something is AI and it doesn't sit right. It doesn't feel good. And I think people are really going to come back to craving authenticity and originality, which is what the human experience is all about.
I agree. And I can tell myself when I've gotten an email that has AI generation in it.
Yeah.
And you can certainly tell the difference between a LinkedIn post that does versus one that is very authentic and real and raw. And I think we've forgotten that everything doesn't need to be perfect. It just has to be real.
I agree.
Because that's how you connect.
Yeah. And I'm finding that even with recipe content in that world, people prefer images that are kind of stills taken at home rather than sort of studio shots and really ultra edited things, because they are real and they are relatable and achievable.
It's really interesting because as we go into the world deeper and deeper in terms of AI and I guess artificial experiences is what I will call it.
Yeah.
You are really finding people start to pull back from tech as well.
Yes.
Because they're like, I don't want to deal with this anymore.
Yeah. And I think, analog life is becoming a lot more luxurious and appealing to a lot of people as well. That's not to say that AI isn't useful, because I think there's a lot of uses for it. And,
absolutely.
And if it can do the boring stuff and let humans do the art and the fun stuff, then I think that's great. But yeah, I don't think it can really replace good writing.
Yeah, I'd agree. All right. And what have you got looking ahead?
Well, I just finished a big rewrite of my novel draft, which I've been writing in sort of 10-minute snippets for years with my children in tow. So that's been really fun, and I'll probably start another one.
So what's your book about?
It is, I'd say, a darkly satirical novel set in the Australian food media scene.
Yeah,
of course. Filled with lots of food.
Nice.
Yeah.
And how would you like people to get in contact with you?
Oh, the best way is probably through my websites, and that's spaghettihead.com.au. Otherwise, I'm a pretty avid Instagram user as well. So it's Sonya_Gellert.
Yeah, amazing. And one final question. Your death row meal. I don't know.
I have ideas. I think.
Is that because you think you'll end up on death row?
I'm not planning to get there.
You love food so much.
Because I think about food a lot. Look, I think I'd cheat the system a little bit and choose like a platter, like maybe a Lebanese platter or something.
Yeah.
For reasons of, say, sentimentality and deliciousness, my husband's pizza, which is fantastic. But being anaphylactic, allergic to seafood.
Oh, my God.
I'm thinking maybe I just eat a prawn and just kind of make a big scene right at the end. Go out on a big dramatic note.
I didn't pick that. I didn't pick that. All right.
Yeah, I mean, assuming I'm innocent, of course. Yeah.
Naturally, you would be. Anyway, thanks for coming on Bite Size, Sonya. It's been an absolute delight having you here.
It's been a pleasure to talk to you, Xanny. Thanks for having me.
No worries. Thank you. Thanks for joining us for this episode of Bite Size. We really appreciate all the support we've received. If you'd like to hear more incredible stories and amazing guests, make sure you subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. Bye.